Hello, long time no see. Welcome back to another episode of Writing Cards with Books. I'm Jaclyn.
And I'm Phillip.
And today we're going to be discussing Espada, The Will of the Blade by Anabel Colazo. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but I'm not fluent in Spanish. I'm trying my best.
See.
Anabel Colazo. She's Spanish.
See.
So this was translated by Jourdan. Wow, the lights just went out.
Woo! Yeah, we're going under a bridge.
Translated by Diego. The lights keep going out. Jourdan Pereira.
Man, we can butcher some names. We apologize.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
What is the book about, you may ask? Well, it's about a sword, hence the name Espada means sword in Spanish.
Good job, love.
I'm trying to be Miss Rachel today, okay? Okay. There was a time when everyone had access to magic, until a dispute for power attracted a demon from another world who destroyed everything, or so the legend has it. However, there is another very different... I can't say that word.
Just move on then.
Version.
There you go. See? You got this.
According to which a hero carrying a sword came to the kingdom to guide and protect its people.
He-Man.
Who was that hero?
What
And
He-Man?
what became of him? No, it wasn't He-Man.
Okay, all right.
Why is the queen now only the person capable of using magic? Attracted by all these enigmas of the past, Ania, princess of the kingdom and heir to the throne by imposition, will try to find out the truth behind these magical fables, now that she has just found a mysterious sword. Spoiler alert, she finds the sword.
She finds the sword like in the first few pages.
Yeah, I know.
But there may be lots of spoilers in this conversation. So.
Yeah, there will be. So this book is 3 parts. Well, you get a little prelude, and then you get the chapter. So the prelude is like the myth. Then you get a chapter about the princess, the hero, and
The demon.
the demon.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. First off, I love the artwork. It's very beautiful.
I do love the artwork in this book a lot.
The scenery pages really reminded me of Tilly Walden, which was one of my favorite artists.
It's very colorful, too.
It's so colorful. And the eyes are so piercing. But the story is really based in lore, which was really fun. What was your favorite part?
All of it.
All of it? Did you have a favorite character?
I think, my favorite character was the princess, by far. I cannot remember her name.
Anaya.
Amaya?
Anaya.
Anaya, sorry.
Ania.
Yeah,
Ania, Anaya.
something. Anyway, so she was by far my favorite character in this book, and it's, once again, it's a book about journey and growth, but the undertones in this book, once again, if you don't pay attention, like some people don't in a graphic novel, is very interesting in how they handle everything, because once again, it's about certain topics that's just not always black and white.
It's very colorful.
It's it talks about like how her mother rules the kingdom as the only person with magic, and she's like, well, I want to give magic back to everyone, but can you? Like the ideology is there and the thought process is there for you to handle that, but is it wise to do that in the way that it works, right? Because it's not getting rid of magic, it's giving magic to everyone other than the queen, because she's the heir to this, right? So the queen has many children.
But Anaya is not a legitimate child of the queen.
Right, but she is set up in magic and she loved her mother. And so that's how that was set up. And we get a page or two of a lot of backstory and stuff to give you just enough that you need to know. But we don't get mired in this whole backstory history. And which I'm
going to make assumptions, though. I make assumptions. So I'm pretty sure the queen and Anice's mom were lovers.
Correct. That is correct.
And something happened to Anice's mom.
Right, and we don't know
Ania's mom.
Correct.
And we don't know what that is, and she felt that she had to take on responsibility for their child, and now they're the heir.
Correct.
So there's some history there that we're not quite told.
But the reason she's the heir is she has use of magic where her other kids don't. And so the heir in this kingdom has to be able to use magic.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of her adoptive daughter.
Yes.
And so there's some tension between the other 28,000 kids that the queen has. That's a lie.
Because it's not really, but I feel like they probably want to be the heir.
Some, right? And you see some of it. Like some of the kids think they should be the heir, but they kind of keep themselves in line because of the way the queen does stuff. But there's some things in here that show you that, yeah, the kids don't really get along. Some of the kids get along fine, some of them don't.
Yeah, Ania looks like one of the rule breakers, and the other kids are like, you need to obey mother, that kind of thing. But, not that you asked, but my favorite character is Eliza, the healer. And I'm pretty sure Ania and Eliza are in love.
Yes.
That's them together.
There's actually a scene in there where they kiss.
They did?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, you didn't see this panel. Once again, I pay very close attention to artwork.
No, I'm pretty sure I did see that.
So it's one small panel, and you just see a movement. You don't actually see the lips touch, but it's a movement of where, you could sit there and say, you could sit there and go, well, you can't tell. Like, yeah, I mean, if you read the story,
Wow.
like it's not.
Ania goes on a journey. Well, she finds the sword, and she hides it with her magic, and then she goes on a journey to the north village to make amends, or try to make amends.
When she finds the sword, when she finds the sword, it brings back the old story.
Yeah.
So the demon basically rears its head again. So once again, while the sword was hidden, everything was the way it was. When she finds the sword, it starts changing things again.
She hides the sword within herself.
Right.
But her mom knows, because she knows everything.
Well, her mom's full of magic, so.
And she doesn't like weapons. But they go on a journey to the north, because people in the north disappeared into the forest. Was it a forest?
Yes, it was a forest.
And so they're trying to figure out what happened and why they don't have any memory of what happened. The people that did come out. And turns out that they met the hero, and he wiped their memories. Look how trippy these panels are. And then so she spends time with the hero, and he has, this is way spoiler, sorry. He has a mark on his hand that when you hold the sword, you can use the sword. And so
you can use the sword's power.
Yeah.
His hand has a mark that's a key that matches the hilt of the sword.
So they switch hands so she can wield the sword. And then she has to recover from her surgery. So she spends time with him. And is he an underwater type alien, or is there he looks more like a fish
He's
alien.
just an alien. Yeah.
It's a very interesting character. But yeah, they switch hands. And that's how she can wield the sword.
So basically, to go back to the original story, in this, him and his people come to the planet, you could call it Earth, whatever this planet's called, and they try to help people and bring them magic and make things better. But just like normal, we suck, and we decide that we know better than anyone else knows better, and we ruin everything.
Yeah, basically.
And so he basically was like, well, I'm just going to go do my own thing at this. So he stayed hidden for years.
Yeah. But
until she found the sword.
But you can kill the demon with the sword.
Right. If you have enough magic.
Yeah. And then she journeys home, and the queen tells her, I'm disappointed in you. No, I'm just kidding.
The queen never got mad. They
No.
did a really good job of, from the princess's standpoint, of my mother's kind of evil, and even from the hero standpoint, my mother's kind of evil. But she in her actions never showed that, right? Like there was hard decisions that she had to make over her lifetime to keep all the kingdoms safe from the demon, but like her actions never showed that, like her being very cruel to anyone. Like
she just took away magic.
she was a part of taking away magic, but you know the hero helped in that.
Yeah.
The hero and the demon also helped in part
But
of that.
the kingdom in the north, they live in a forever winter, and I'm wondering, did she make them do that, or is it just because they're in like Iceland and that's just the climate?
Right. So I think so. Once again, that was a good question there. So one of the things is my mother is evil, or your mother is evil because she made this whole land. These people live in this frozen tundra, right? But once again, it was up north. It was in the northern regions, which, as most planets would be, that is inhabitable. The north part is just colder than that. So was it really that her magic made the north cold, or was it the fact that it was just part of the story that helped keep everyone safe?
Yeah.
And I think there's stuff like that you kind of have to read into and how it was, because once again, the queen's actions were not horrible in any manner, even when the princess was doing stuff that she shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. I think there will be more.
Yeah, the book came out in 2022
In
Spanish, but it was just translated this year.
Yeah, it just came
English.
out like last month, I think.
Yeah, so.
But the way it ends, it could definitely be more, because the last page is like there's this mysterious thing at the bottom of the ocean. So
Right.
I like the way it explores different parts of the world, with like the north and the cold, and then the sea. So it's really pretty.
So you said you had a question that you wanted.
Yeah, I have a question for you. So this is a Spanish cartoonist, and some of your favorite books are Spanish.
Right.
So what is it about Spanish books are you drawn to?
I have no idea.
Because Carmen's Spanish, right?
Yep.
And then we read another Spanish one. We did a video a while ago.
I think a lot of it is just the art style is so different and it's so colorful, right? And then there's so much meaning to a lot of their stories, right? So when you read a Spanish story, there's just so much meaning, and there's so much culture involved, right? Like from an American perspective, we've only been around a few hundred years.
We stole a lot of their culture.
And we steal a lot of culture from everyone, which, was what makes the United States such a great country, is because our culture brings in all these great cultures from everyone else. But once again, the culture from this standpoint and how the art is handled and how the wording is handled is usually so well done in how the story, because they have that history, right? Like once again, in the US, a lot of the stories is based around what we've done as a country in 200 years, 300 years. For Spain and even, Italian, I love Italian stories too. A lot of those is basically, they're thousands of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they have thousands of cultural history that has changed so often that I think they pull from. And I think this is a perfect story on that, right? Like,
yeah, you could tell there's a lot of lore.
There's a lot of lore that comes from this. And once again, I think I made this comment earlier to you before we started this. Like Star versus the forces of evil. I could see where she watched that show and got some inspiration from it. Like it's not the same, but there's a couple of undertones that is like, hey. And it could be that's why I also like this book, right? Because she may not have ever seen that show, but there's a couple of undertones there that are like that. And it's the magic part, right?
Well, the princess and the magic and wanting to save magic or in magic.
Or end up making everyone's life better. But once again, this book is really great at showing you
Very much showing.
Yeah, very much showing that just because an idea in your head can make everyone's life better, is everyone ready to use all that power wisely, right?
And that's the question that the healer asked, was like, this is what you want, but have you even talked to what your people want?
Right. Or can your people even handle this, right?
Yes.
Like, once again, can your people handle this much freedom? Can your people handle this much power? And I think that was
It's
a
a
very
great
much part of that.
question, and you
Yes.
should read it yourself.
Yes.
So Espada by Anabel Colazo. It is published in the U.S. by Oni Press,
That's what I
and
heard.
it's beautiful. You should check it out.
You should.
We recommend. So, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.